Welcome to episode 84 of the Holochronicles Podcast. I'm Andy. This is Josh. We're in Josh's basement, a different room, as you could maybe see. And we're going to go over SummerCon 2021 from Puyallup, Washington, home of the Washington State Fair. And like I said, 2021 SummerCon.
So as you can see, we have another set change. We were explaining that with no audio just a moment ago. Yeah, redo.
Take two.
A bit of a whirlwind. Like I was saying to nobody. We let our patrons know last week with the little video I did, kind of some changes that were going on, just with room configuration in my own home, some ideas, and we've gotten full approval from the guild leader,
the higher ups.
I've gotten to relocate to a certain room in our house, which Andy, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, this is our forever home.
This
and in this configuration, maybe a different camera angle. I'm not loving the angles right now. It's a lot of side profile. We look like we have a light side and a dark side, which isn't bad for what we do.
It reminds me of that Sesame Street, like, all ball, you know.
Yeah, they're passing words back and forth.
Yeah, I say
okay. Just really connecting with our people here. So anyway, just a different set change. And but like I said, our forever home. We're here. We've put a lot of work into the background. As a matter of fact, we've got an exclusive view of the room as it is right now. Now you'll get to watch it change as far as just getting a little fuller and more stuff in the right places. But here you go. Here you go. This is us. Wave, Andy. Wave to the wave. There you go. This is kind of the room that we're in. Here's we're Bert and Ernie in our our room. But I don't know what else to say except I'm happy to finally be, I think, where we're going to stay for a while and just make a little better for you guys. We have a little better setup and angles, which will just come throughout the rest of the. But this has been like a year and a half, 2 years in the making, Mr. Lemiere, and finally we get to settle down.
Finally, some normalcy,
maybe,
to start setting in here.
Maybe.
Well, Josh, let's start off today talking about a couple gets that I got, non-con related. I was looking forward to showing this off. A fella by the name of Scuba Pete, perhaps you're familiar. Let me know about something that he came across. I called dibs. I mean, when you call dibs, you gotta hold to it. And then came here via Ohio through Scuba Pete. Now to you. Now let me set this up. Whoa. Yes. The camera.
Here's the best comment so far.
What does it say?
Streaming is a complicated business.
Don't you agree?
Don't you agree?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Star Wars figure case. Okay.
Your face is better. No, it's not going to work.
Not going to work. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this figure case, it's classic. This was the most made of all of the cases. Blue interior. It's got a nice little insert here. Gray trays. Again, Star Wars. All right. This is not new, but this is just setting up what I got. All right. You see these all over eBay. They're very common and easy to find. And you can get them usually pretty inexpensively, unless you're getting like ones that have never been opened, right? Those will cost a few bucks. But this, pretty common. Kids in the 70s, 80s, a lot of them had this.
And Scuba Pete sent those your way?
Not that one.
Not that one. I see.
But he did send this one. Okay. This was the Empire Strikes Back transition case. And you'll note that.
Look how clever they were.
That they use the same imagery, but a different movie title on it. Okay, this is what we would call nowadays as a repack.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty
just
hardcore repack
swap
right
the
there.
logo. Swap the logo. Now in this, I mean, it is, it's in great shape. Now this does have the Empire Strikes Back insert, which
Okay.
is blue on one side, yellow on the other.
Right.
Okay. What is really sweet about this is that it has an untapped
Yeah. Sticker sheet.
sticker sheet. Yeah. And came with its little pamphlet.
Awesome.
Okay.
And that's still wrapped, or has that been packed? Meaning somebody. Oh, okay. So that's on like a cardboard backing somebody put in to protect it.
Yeah. Just to keep it flat
Right.
and straight. So still with the same gray trays. I mean, it is literally the same in every way except for the insert and the Empire Strikes Back logo. Okay. So again, this is called the transition Empire Strikes Back transition case, and
Very cool.
this
Very
is
cool.
new. This is
Yeah.
new.
Let me see it.
Okay.
Hand it over.
Okay, you got that. And then the other thing that he sent is the actual Empire Strikes Back case. This is
That's pretty cool.
one of a couple. There's a couple versions of this. And what I really enjoy about it are in the scenes, you've got some bounty hunters down here. You've got some of the lesser known. You got the
Medical
droid. You've got Lobot and some of the
Bespin guards. Yep.
And then
And even Slave One, some cloud cars.
yeah, so there's just they've included some lesser knowns.
I also like that it's a little like cartoony, or not cartoon, like very stylized type of artwork there. I guess you would call that concept looking type of art. I like it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And this little bit different on the inside. Same Empire Strikes Back insert and same decals, which have not been used, but the inside is a tan color. So this is an actual different case. It's not just a repurposed Star Wars case. This is slightly different. The trays are a different color. The inside's it's a light gray, or excuse me, a light brown instead of a light gray. But it's in awesome shape, and it was at a price I couldn't resist.
Yeah, that's
So,
beautiful.
a couple of Empire Strikes Back figure cases. Thanks to Scuba Pete for hooking me up. Appreciate it. These are pretty cool.
Very cool.
Very happy to get it. This means I'm not trying to get every single version of these that ever came out, because I think there's somewhere around like 6 or 7 total different ones. But I have been after an Empire Strikes Back case for a while, and all that's left for me to get is the ultra rare, tough to find in good condition Return of the Jedi case.
Right.
They're expensive too. So again,
Interesting.
thanks Pete for hooking me up with that. I'm very excited to have them, and they're cool to have. They whether you keep figures in them or not.
I said, the artwork on the non-transition, like the actual Empire, is, I mean, you get an Ugnaught down the corner. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's
I
a Rebel
really like
Soldier, Hoth Rebel Soldier.
AT-AT driver up top. Very cool. Worth looking at. Andy, I'm sure you'll put a picture up for everyone to see close up.
Yep, I've got one locked and loaded for tomorrow. Speaking of things that are put up on Twitter today, in fact, and this gets into SummerCon. So let's
dive into SummerCon.
Josh, explain what SummerCon is. You've been to a couple now. This was my first one, but
So SummerCon is kind of like Andy said, it's at the Washington State Fairgrounds, which is up in Puyallup, which is just south of Seattle. So pretty much the heart of the seat of Seattle right there, or of Washington.
East Tacoma.
East Tacoma-ish. Yeah. Basically you take I-5 from where we live about an hour and a half north, except when there's traffic, and then it becomes 2 hours or so, which we hit, which is part of the story, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So we rolled in on Friday, and the doors opened at 3. We got there about 3:30.
Yep.
We're able to get across the street, park very close, and hop in. We sent a video, quick little short, like a 5-minute short to our patrons, kind of showing them just a quick overview of what we had there. But Andy, our biggest deal was we were finally out of the house at a con.
Yeah.
And by the way, with CDC regulations in Washington State, able to go through maskless because of, our current conditions. And that was
awesome.
Liberating.
Very. It was so good. And I will say this, the toy fair that I went to a month ago was in the same place. And there were a lot of the same vendors there. So there was some familiarity to it, but it was different. Now, it wasn't, because we went early Friday, I don't think that's like prime time.
How many people do you think were there while we were there? Like it increased while we were there?
Sure.
But throw out a number. I want to see if it's close to what I think it was.
I would say 1,000 people.
I would say 100.
Really?
I'm not including vendors.
Okay.
And when we first got there, and because we had some comments from some of our patrons that were like, wow, that looks pretty dead for a con. And I would agree. When I went 2 years ago, prior to the pandemic, I think it was about 2/3 bigger than it was this year, as far as vendors went, as far as fullness.
Well, I will say this too, and we'll talk more about this later, but there weren't quite the big names that there was last time. There were some names.
But I mean, you didn't have a Billy D rolling in, which definitely brought the Star Wars crowd. But you did have Katie. I mean,
right.
And we talked about Katie. We can get to that story in a second. But as far as attendance went, I know 100's a really low number, but it felt like 100 people.
It felt like we had the place to ourselves.
It did.
Right. So I do agree with you on that. It didn't feel like if there was something that I saw at a table that I liked and I wanted to get, I didn't feel like I had to get it because there were so many people there. Nope. It wasn't going to be there.
No, you could roll
I felt
around.
like I could take a lap and come back and think about it a little bit, which was nice. That was nice.
It's sort of nice, but also part of being at a con is being packed in with
the buzz.
And it's also with volume increase, you get better odds of more costumes, more cosplay. And
there was a lot.
We didn't have a ton of cosplay, but that's what I'm saying. As a percentage, if you get 1,000 people in the room, you're going to have 100 people in cosplay. If you get 2,000, 200, I would say 10% cosplayed up pretty well. But we saw some great cosplay, especially from the Star Wars. We saw some. What was my term for them?
One-up Boba
Fett's all over the place. I even took a little video of a Predator Boba Fett, minus dreadlocks, but definitely the paint scheme was Predator.
There was a super heavy Mandalorian.
There was a super heavy Darth Vader. There was a super heavy, super short and heavy Darth Vader, which is
thick, as the kids call him.
Which was more Dark Helmet. When I
there was a fetching Captain America lady.
Yes.
Did you see her? She was hanging out with the ROTC.
Oh, I bet she was.
Yeah.
Had a nice shield. I missed her.
Okay. Anyway, all that to say is that I like the fact that we did feel like we had the place to ourselves.
We did.
But it was missing some potential buzz. And some of that was because a lot of the people that were signing autographs were signing Saturday, but didn't Friday.
And also traffic.
That's what they said.
I get it, but we experienced it. Now, if they're flying into, if they were flying into,
I mean, we experienced some of the same traffic, and we still got there.
I see.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're doing.
So I don't know. So here's the deal: we walked around. There's some people that I got to meet that I just had a blast with.
Right.
Starting off with none other than Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. You'd met him before.
I had met and talked with him and took pictures with him.
So when I didn't know he was going to be there, otherwise I would have brought up
and his wife
book,
and his wife,
or a poster or something for him to sign. But I was like, I mean, I didn't know what to say at first, and he was just like so disarming and kind of a quiet guy, but super nice and
total nerd.
Yeah, and he was like, I was like, well, tell me about this book, because he had some like comic stuff on there too, and he's like, oh, this and this, and he had all the new Thrawn series, hardbacks and all that stuff. And so I ended up buying something from him, and he was like, would you like me to sign it? And I was like, yes, I would love for you to sign it. He's like, you want just my name, or do you want me to put your name on it too? I was like, you put my name on it with you. That would be awesome. So
All right.
I got it.
All right.
I got it.
I love it.
Keep
Well, you
kicking the
just kicked
camera.
Come on, dude.
Keep kicking the camera.
All right. Next set change is to put bumpers on the camera for.
All right. Marvel Star Wars New Republic Legends Epic Collection. So this has a number of comic story arcs put into this. Signed by my new buddy.
I love it.
Tim says to Andy, Timothy Zahn 6.
Now you do
18,
know
21.
that is just like a major awesome for him. When you want it signed, personalized to yourself, that means you're not scalping, you're not
Nope.
trying to sell Zahn signed stuff. You know, you're in there and you're happy to see the author for who he is and buy his product for you.
Yes.
I think that's a
Yeah.
I would have
Personalized
a
is
hard
awesome.
time, that's with Carl Weathers. He's like, to you, or just, and I'm like, absolutely to me. I'm not selling that crap. Wouldn't
So-
go for much, Carl. Sorry,
Yeah.
but no, it's fine.
So there's a collection of stories in here. This page has all of them on there, and the first 6 are by Timothy Zahn, and that's why he was selling them. And they are the story arc for Mara Jade, the Emperor's Hand,
Awesome.
comic 0 through 6. So I guess there's 7, and I've already read it. It's great. It's the introduction.
And you're
to,
not a comic guy.
to Mara Jade.
Yeah.
Meeting Darth Vader,
Yeah.
and totally awesome. If you're into Legends, this is really cool to get. I was totally pumped to get it, and he was super, super nice. I can't say this. He was such a nice dude.
He was.
Had all the time in the world for me, and I could have talked to him for an hour.
Funny story is I walked by and I saw him and I saw you at the table with him. And I was like, good, Andy. Get yourself some Zahn. I had some Zahn 2 years ago and I loved it. He did the same thing for me. He spent 5 minutes with me, talked to my daughters, was totally cool. Talked to my kids, was totally cool. His wife engaged for a while. It was awesome.
Mhm.
And then you've seen the pics, but he's a good dude. I didn't want to walk up because I'd been like, you remember me? Yeah, no,
Hey, man.
I don't remember you. Anyway, did you book him for the show?
No, I didn't
All
get him.
right.
Didn't get him. I
All
didn't
right,
feel
failure.
compelled.
I guess I should have gone up.
But no, so glad I met him, because as I told him, Josh, I was like, hey, I wasn't a big reader in high school, middle school, high school, but I read the Thrawn series and I loved them. And I read a lot of books from that era, a lot of Star Wars books from that era, but the Thrawn books were
Timothy
top.
Zahn's Timothy Zahn's Thrawn books with Mark Thompson reading them
The current ones,
is all of them.
yeah.
Well, yeah, not the legends, but
Right.
the current ones, which I'm fine with. They're great and they don't deviate. I mean, they get away a little bit from what Thrawn does in Legends, but you get Thrawn's, history. It's absolute Star Wars perfection, in my opinion. Absolute Star. What's that? The guy who can't. Nobody can. Maybe you can, Pinhead.
I don't know.
She's not even in here today.
I-
But whatever.
Get her in here. So the next person on my list of people that I got to meet, and Josh, you watched this happen. You did.
I did. It was a weird. Can I set it up? So imagine you go into this pavilion where all these celebrities, including Katie,
Mhm.
are supposed to be, and some names we didn't know. As a matter of fact, one of the names my daughter's like, oh my gosh, that guy voices a favorite anime character. Not there.
Yeah.
Bunch of empty seats
Bunch
with
of
their
empty
banners
seats.
above the empty seats.
Bunch of them.
Lou Ferrigno showed up.
Lou Ferrigno was there. The Hulk.
He did. Hulk showed up. Still looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is that? He's got to
He's-
be pressing 70.
He's a big man. Like
He's a
he's
big
like
dude.
6'4".
Yeah.
Like, he's a tall man.
He's a tall, definitely not as bulked up as he was in
1980.
steroid Hulkville. But so anyway, just a bunch of empty seats. And then
The Red Power Ranger was there.
he was in great
Jason.
shape. That guy
I think
looked,
his name was Jason.
that
Yeah.
guy, he still got his finger on the pulse in old Hollywood, it looks like.
Yeah.
The
Let's see.
hair dye.
Judith Hogue, April O'Neil from the original
April
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Cowabunga.
Yeah, looks
Looking awesome
looks
too.
great. Yeah,
Great.
looks exactly like she did.
Yep. I had the
Um,
biggest crush on her. Holy moly.
Kate Flannery from The Office.
Meredith.
She was there.
And then
And then
in swaggers in
David Koechner. also from The Office and Anchorman. Todd Packer / Champ Kind. Now, beloved character to me. I have one of my best friends, huge Champ Kind. Like quotes him all the time. He's a big Champ fan. So I was like, Dash, and I had my son with me. I was like, let's go meet him.
And you were first in line because Meredith, I only call her by her character name. Meredith had shown up about 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Got set up.
She had a line
of like 15 people.
Keckner walks in.
Rolls Packer.
I roll.
He's rolling a little
sweet hat.
Sweet little hat.
Yeah. And I stepped right up to him. I was like, Mr. Keckner, what a pleasure it is. And he's like, well, thanks, man. And he shakes my hand and he holds my hand
for a while.
Yeah. Like we talked a while holding hands. And it was great. It was just like added to the whole thing. And he was like, what's your name? I said, my name's Andy. And then he goes, kind of side eyes me. And he goes, is he with you? And he looks at my son. And I was like, yeah, that's my son. And he's like, what's his name? He's like, his name's Dash. He's like, oh, are you fast, Dash? And
oh yeah,
he's like,
going for the
kind of
low hanging fruit there.
It's kind of. He's like, all right, cool. And then his handler lady says, are we doing an autograph or a selfie? Because those are the two choices.
Sure.
And I said, I would love to get your autograph, Mr. Keckner. And he goes, okay, just pick one of those 8x10s out. And she goes, it's cash only. And I was like, oh shoot, I just got my card on me. And then my son says, I got the money, Dash. And he's like, oh, all right. Do you have a summer job, Dash? And he's like, no. And I said, well, he plays baseball. And he's like, oh, baseball player, huh? You need to read the book Outliers. And I said, oh, Malcolm Gladwell book? And he's like, yes. And I said, we have it at home. And he's like, you're a good dad. It's like, well, thanks, Dave. And then he starts talking about Outliers to my son. And he's like, you just need to take it in the bathroom, read a couple pages every time you go in there. And he goes, it's not an assignment. It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
But imagine Todd Packer saying this.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Yeah. It's the chicken of the cave. But and Todd Packer / David Keckner, they are one and the same. There's no acting involved. Champ Kind is David Keckner.
There's no acting involved.
No, they are.
I'm sure he'd love to hear that.
No. He is spot on that character.
I'm bringing it up. There it is. I wish.
You took a picture of it?
I wish you could see. Yep.
Yeah, he's still holding my hand.
He's still holding his hand at that moment.
Yeah. And anyway, I'm dying laughing. And we talked 10 minutes and a line has formed and it is stalled. We are not going anywhere. And so I said, hey, but this 8x10 you signed, it's not for me. It's for my buddy, Brad. He is a huge fan of yours and I'm going to give it to him as a gift. He would be over the moon about it. And he goes, oh, you mean D-Bag, Brad?
D-Bag.
And I said, you know him? and so we laughed and he signed to my sweet D-Bag Brad.
Right.
You know, David Keckner. And he wrote a quote on there that was inappropriate. And I gave it to Brad yesterday for Father's Day and he died laughing.
Oh yeah. Did he love it?
He loved it. And I got a sweet story out of it. And this conversation went everywhere. And if Dash wasn't with me, I'd have seen if he wanted to go grab a beer afterwards. And I bet he would have. Because what else are you going to do in Puyallup?
I think he'd had a beer or two.
I know he'd had maybe a couple whiskeys.
Well,
but
when you're flying first class to a con,
hey, it was a great experience. Great moment. Yeah. And so that was my David Keckner story. No Star Wars people were there at that time. And so that was a bummer. We ended up leaving, going around and
I left a little earlier than you.
Right.
So I had my girls were starving and we'd done the con. We'd been down every aisle twice.
Yep.
And my little story is I got to loop back around to Chrisman's, who we had on 3 shows ago, Jason Chrisman, and grab, I don't know, probably one of the coolest. It's upstairs. It's probably one of the coolest pieces. I'll show it next time. It's going to be on the wall in here, but I have to get a frame for it.
We'll take a picture of it.
It's a metal version of what he talked about, what you and him talked about, which is the cantina scene that he does. And then it's a metal version that just pops.
Right. The colors are a lot more
vibrant. Extreme.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And only
very,
one.
very cool.
Only one available. that day.
He brings one. I think he brings one to every con. He said.
Well, he brought Jabba's Palace, and he said he sold that before he got the table set up. Somebody rolled up and just bought that, which I don't know if I would have been able to, which one I would have picked, but I knew I was leaving with it. But you and I talked, and we did the classic con, move of like walk around and think about it.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
But I kind of left that to fate. We went, we saw, we did the whole experience you did with the, with the Lou Ferrigno and Keckner, and then I'm like, if it's still there on my way out, I'm going to buy it. And sure enough, it was. And by the way, Jason, only guy that had like 6 people in line.
Yeah,
he had in line.
He had people.
I had to wait in line.
So we had done a few laps throughout that day, and he had people there all the time, which was really cool.
Very cool. So it was a good time for me. But you, like I said, I left early.
Yeah.
And I went to Red Robin.
Well,
okay.
Rightly so.
Rightly so. Not a lot of cosplay going on at Red Robin.
No. So when we had got there originally, I went to see if I could procure a spot getting a photo op with Katie Sackhoff, but they were sold out.
Right.
They were sold out for the day. In fact, her autograph / photo opportunities were sold out for Friday. If you didn't have one, you weren't going to see her.
SOL.
Yeah. And she arrived late too.
That sounds for Star Wars out of luck.
Star Wars out of luck. Yes. So when we were back upstairs, or back up in the upstairs where they're doing all the autographs, there's a table there with some staff workers. And I said, hey, I asked them. So this is the second group of people I've asked. Hey, do you think when Katie gets here, I'll be able to get in line and get an autograph? Not a photo op, but just like an autograph. And she's like, well, you're supposed to have a ticket for these. Do you have a ticket? And I was like, I don't. She's like, well, they're all sold out for today. Strike 2.
Dang it.
Okay. So later on,
well, we know there's another pitch.
There's another one. So it goes to 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Dash, my son, is ready to go.
Okay, now I had left at what, 6?
Yeah.
So you pulled another hour duty.
Well, we got burgers. We ate there.
Oh, okay. So
we
you
ate there.
Yeah, my girls can't eat the fare.
We ate a little bit of food and kind of kicked it for a minute. 7 o'clock, I go back upstairs. Katie has arrived. Her line, we heard over the announcement that Katie Sackhoff had arrived. So the line was about the first transport's away. The line was about 20 people. And
that's the deal. That's what I'm talking about. It's 20.
It's 20 people. Yeah. So I go get in line, and I'm the last person
now you're
in line.
Bowl up, huh?
I'm gonna brute force my way in, and I'm gonna be the last guy in line. Oh, I needed a ticket. I didn't know, and she's gonna feel compelled and compassionate to just quickly. Come on, and she will begrudgingly sign a photograph for me, and we will go. That's my plan. So I get in line. I'm in line for a half an hour. Okay. 20 people, half an hour or so. I get to
handler.
I get to staff worker. Then there's handler. Then there's Katie.
Oh,
okay. Katie's signing with somebody. I'm at staff worker. And she goes, ticket. And I said, what? I don't have a ticket.
Oh, you play dumb?
I said, I don't have a
ticket.
Strike 3
dumb?
I said, I don't have a ticket. Do I have to have one for an autograph? And she's like, yeah. And I said, well, I'm the last person in line. And there's still a half an hour of this con to go. And I
sweet boy Andy?
I throw it back on her, and she gives me this look like,
son of a bitch.
Like what you're saying is correct, but
there's rules.
But the rules say you got to have a ticket, and in my mind I'm thinking, and Dash isn't with me. He's sitting down playing video games on his phone.
Sure, he's tired.
He wants to leave.
Very tired.
And so I don't have the kid card to play either. So I need this. I'm in my mind.
No, Dash is adorable too.
I need this to be your idea, because if I push, you're gonna say no. I need this to be your idea. Come on, get there.
Force.
There. Yes, I'm using all of my force powers on her. Power of suggestion. She's like, she looks down at Katie a couple times, looks at me, and she wasn't getting there. Oh, she wasn't getting there. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, shh. So I very slowly get out of the line, which there is no line now, and I walk in front of Katie and
Dude, you puppy dogged?
I puppy dogged hard as I could, and I walked across, and I looked a little dejected, hoping like, where's he going? Bring him back. I'll sign it.
Did you kick a piece of paper on the ground or something with your hands in your pocket?
I didn't. And so I went back out into the lobby area, a little bummed out. I grabbed Dash, and then I noticed the staff people working the table that sold the tickets, it was somebody different. So I went back to this guy. This is attempt number 4. Attempt number 4. Okay.
Wow.
And let me take a timeout. This is getting to be a long story, and I just stick with me here.
It's our show.
So Jason Chrisman, our artist friend of the program.
Okay.
He made the meet and greet tags for the con.
He did.
It's a new Bo-Katan print that he made.
Awesome.
And it's
freaking awesome.
Awesome. It was buy 2, get the third 3. So Josh and I got 3, which by the way, I have yours.
I know you do. I'm waiting for you to finish the story.
Well, I'm not going to finish the story.
Jeez, then I'm waiting for the story.
You don't want to show?
I want the story.
Okay, so I go back. All right, back to the story then. We'll sidestep the sidestep.
We'll get there.
So I go to this guy, all right, and I say, hey, man, there's a half hour left of this convention. The line's gone. They told me I needed a ticket, but there's no more tickets. But I know you have some tickets.
You played the full
I said, is there a chance you can sell me 2 tickets because I want 2 things signed?
This is a collector tip right here.
And he's like, kind of gives me the same look, like, ugh, like what you're saying is true, but she's sold out already. And he says that. He's like, she's been sold out.
She's been there for an hour.
I was like, I know, but look, she's not busy. Like she's just sitting there. And he goes, do you have your credit card on you? I was like, yes, I do. He's like,
do you have any Bitcoin?
He goes, take these 2 tickets and see if they'll take them. I'm not going to run them through in case they say no, because then I'd have to give you a refund, and that's a hassle that I don't want to deal with. So I'll hold your credit card. Here's 2 tickets.
Whoa.
Good luck. So I'm like, thanks, man. You've given me a sliver of hope today. Where
do you know how much Fortnite gold you just bought?
I don't know.
He's just over there.
Yeah. So I haven't seen my statement yet. So you could be right. So I go back over to the same person who just denied me. And now I've got my son with me.
Nice.
And she doesn't recognize me.
Of course not.
At all, because I've got somebody with me now. It's like, I flopped the 2 tickets up there. She's like, okay. Her handler goes, what are the names on the things? And I say, I want it for Josh and I want it for Trevor. And I step right up.
Josh, what, you didn't do your, this guy.
And so so the handler, like she's British and she's trying to engage with my son who is not having it. He's like, oh, are you glad school's out? And he's like, yep.
He's like, shut up, Mrs. Doubtfire.
He's like, yep. And he's like, oh, when was the last day of school? And he's like, today. He's like, oh, well, all right. And he's like,
and
yep.
I'm here.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know who this is. And so anyway, I stepped right up to Katie and I was like, hey, I'm so glad to meet you. And she's like, well, thanks. I said, I have a question for you though. And she says, what's your question? I said, how many action figures of yourself do you have? And she's like, oh, like I collect myself? I think I have 2 now. And I was like, she said, of the authentic ones, I have a Starbuck and I have Bo-Katan.
Oh my God.
And she said, but far and away, the Black Series one is the best one.
It's amazing.
She goes, I did have, Funko made me a limited when I was on the Flash. So I have a pop, but they weren't widely made. So just those 2. And then she puts her pen down. She goes, but you know, Star Wars Vintage is coming out. She called it Star Wars Vintage, but she meant Vintage Collection.
Got it.
Star Wars Vintage is coming out with a Bo-Katan that looks so much like me, it's a little creepy. She's a big fan of the Vintage Collection.
Wow.
And she says, I don't think it's out yet. I think it's on pre-order. And I said, it is. I have one on pre-order.
Oh.
And so anyway, I was like, thank you so much. Thank you for signing those for us. And, have a great weekend. She's like, enjoy the hot weather. And I was like, yeah, this is chitter chatter, small talk. And we left and we got the signatures. Josh, would you show our listeners, after all that story, the payoff, what was at stake here? The Jason Christman.
On a Christman. Oh my gosh. Andrew.
Yep. To Josh.
Now it says to me, which I love. And this is why I didn't want to look at it. And you refused to tell me the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many pitches are there? There's at least 7, right? You had a couple balls in there, right?
Yeah.
You had a couple balls, is right.
Yeah.
And you went back for number 4.
4th time's the charm. Right.
And this on a Christman, I mean, come on. It's gorgeous.
It's pretty cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And you do not have one with your name on it.
I don't. I got one for you and I got one for Trevor.
It's a good buddy right there. That's a good buddy.
Well, I'd spent all the money I wanted to spend that day, and I got the story, right? I got the story. I got to talk to her. You guys just got the signature.
Think about what Gary just said.
What Gary just
How
said.
many Christmans with Katie's? Do you think there were many? Were there many guys rolling up? Because we got this from Jason directly.
Mm-hmm. There might be a few. I would imagine we were not the only people.
Sorry, Framey.
But
I know Framey's big Christman, but this is, man, I'm stunned and stoked. And so good on you, and bad on my kids for being hungry and gluten intolerant.
Well, it might not have worked out any other way.
I love it though. You're braver than I am, but you're smooth. Andy's smooth. You got to watch out. It's a collector tip. Yeah, I agree. It's an awesome piece.
So there were two different.
Yeah, did you have Trev's or did you deliver already?
I delivered already. He knows the story already.
Because there's one with her, like the Katie Sackhoff, haircut, right?
I think it's up right now.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. Okay.
So there's Josh's and there's Trevor's, and so those are the 2 new prints that he had. He made them for this con, so that because they made the badges, right, the meet and greet badges out of them,
right?
And so I got Trevor one and Josh the other. So,
and you sent a little stealth hip shot video too.
Well, that might have been illegal in the state of Washington to record.
Yeah.
Maybe our patrons will find out.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, if you're, as long as you can keep a secret and you're a patron, then you might get to see the hip shot record from Andy.
Yeah,
addressing. Here's what I love, and I've said this before, especially like when you walk up, like you said, when she put her pen down, she just talks to you. I know it's always shocking because for some reason you have them. Look, there's a screen between you and them. There always has been. There's that third wall or whatever they call that, right? And then you get up to them and you're like, oh, these are just people.
Yeah. She's from Portland.
They've been talking to people for years.
Yeah, she's from Portland. It's like, she was like, talking and signing, but she was looking at what she was doing. But then when she looked at me, and gave me, I'm the only person that asked her this question, and she's the only one that gave me that answer, right? We had an authentic moment between us.
Sure.
And when she looked at me in the eye and she gave me her answer, it was real. That was a real moment.
Now I only have one problem with this interaction.
And that is
you didn't ask her on the show.
No way, man. I tried 4 times just to get there.
You get
pumped.
You get the signature first, and then you do the old fade away. You're like, by the way, I got a podcast called Holochronicles. If you want to come on, just email me. holochronicles@gmail.com. Yep. And you're like, bye.
What are you doing afterwards?
Yeah.
Want to get a beer with me and Dave?
Me and Dave.
No, the guests were not behind plexiglass Left Coast Graphics. They were
That
at
is
a
a good
table.
question. I know he's laughing, but
fair
that's
question.
a fair question.
Nope, they were there
Shaking hands. By the way,
Shaking
holding
hands.
your hand for far too long.
They said, yeah, David. But they said there were signs that said no hugs. But Keckner was coming from behind the table. He was taking group selfies.
Yeah.
Like it seemed as normal as it has ever been. And so
that was my takeaway from this con. I came home to my wife and I was like, you know what?
It felt normal.
The best part about this was we just walked in and I didn't have like mask guilt. Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's a few people that choose to wear, and that's great. And that's how they explained it in their, hey, CDC directive. If you choose to wear a mask, great. If you're vaccinated, I don't want to get into that. But I mean, just like the kind of like, it felt so normal and we're at a con, the most not normal thing you can do.
Yeah.
Just walk around. But anyway, lots of cool stories from the con. I think the best thing that we'll take away, and we'll share some more with our patrons, behind the scenes stuff. The best thing I can take away is get out there, go to a con, as your state or county or whatever allows, and just say hi to people and congratulate them on their costumes. Tell them they look great. That's what I had fun doing. I was like, you look awesome. I mean, my girls took pictures. I had a funny story. I should have put the progression up here, but we saw Kylo and a Death Star
Gunner.
Yeah. And then who's the other one? And Boba. They were kind of rolling around together as a threesome. And then we saw like the Praetorian Guard, and then who was the other? Anyway, Darth Nihilus, Darth Revan.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, get a picture with them. And so my daughters walk up and they're getting a picture with one. I forget who started it. Let's say it was Kylo. They're getting a picture. Well, then all these other cosplayers start running into the picture.
Yeah. It's
They're like, hurry, quick. And so I have like
wait.
live photos of like them standing, and then you'll see like the Death Star gunner come running in, and then Boba comes running in, and then Revan comes running in, and Nihilus comes in. And then I have this group shot of this awesome thing, and my girls are just laughing because I'm like dying laughing. They're all like literally running in. And then I finally just hit video and start taking a video of them, and they're just having a great time. Because guess what? Those guys have had their costumes they're probably like putting fine detail work on, the stitching at this point, just to get out to a cause, to wear their costume. So it was awesome.
And there were droid builders there too.
Droid builders, yeah.
Kit was there.
Kit was there. Michael was not, but Kit was.
Kit was, yeah. Totally awesome. It was a good time. One day was perfect. I wouldn't have enjoyed any more than the time that I spent.
Right,
there.
which is good. It's a good. This is your homework right now. You got to get warmed up if you're going to Celebration.
Sure,
you're gonna have a full 4 days ahead of you.
Yeah, you got to eat. It's
that's why I'm looking.
It's a
September is Rose City, right? So we'll hit Rose City.
We'll hit that one.
Dragon Con you talked about.
That's in Atlanta.
Getting on a plane and just going.
There. Let's hit it.
All right.
But yeah,
don't we have Nick in the room? We had him for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, he'll be there. The last thing I'll say, and this is true collector tip, and maybe this is the clip we cut here, Josh.
Oh,
but on your authentic signature to Josh from Katie.
Oh,
okay. Right next to the guy who was holding my Visa card while he loaned me the 2 tickets. I came back and he said he was excited for me.
Good.
He was excited for me. He ran my card, and the guy sitting next to him was a certificate of authentication provider. And he's like, do you want your autograph authenticated? I saw that you just had that done. And I said, he's like, it's $5. And I was like, sure, do it. And so on the back of it, you can't see it, but there's a sticker. Plus it's got the card that says it's a certificate of authentication. But here's the tip, guys. Now that I think about it, if you get something personalized, you don't need a certificate of authentication.
Well, $5 is cool, but
$5 is $5, but you really don't, because if it's personalized, that's not going up for resale.
I'll tell you what, but hold on. When I was growing up in grade school, there was always 2 other Joshes in my class. So I don't think I'd have a problem finding a Josh to sell this.
Sure.
At top price.
Sure.
I'm kidding. Sorry to interrupt. I'm not selling this, by the way.
But if you were to just get a signature, I would think that would be a lot more worthy of
There it
getting
is.
the
There's a little
authentication sticker and
Beep, beep, right
no.
there.
But so jump back to Dave Keckner. I didn't get his authenticated
Why would you?
because I didn't need to, and I didn't ask to take a selfie with him. He demanded that we take a selfie, and my son took the picture, and he was like, he wasn't holding my hand at that point, thankfully, but he did grab my arm and kind of bring me in. Like it was wild, man. But that just, I mean,
I just want to party with that guy. He'd ruin you, is what he would do.
oh my gosh. Yeah. And he's a big dude. Like
Yeah.
he looks eye to eye with Will Ferrell, and Will Ferrell's not a small man.
Right.
So like Todd Packer's legit.
Todd Packer's legit.
Oh gosh.
Let's get him on the show.
Oh,
I bet we can
he'd
get him
do
on the
it.
show.
I
Let's
bet
get him
he'd
on the
do
show.
it.
We're gonna get Packer on. This is not gonna be Star Wars related at
No.
all. Or is it?
What is it? Maybe we can
Can you imagine Todd Packer, the Jedi?
Ah.
It's just like a drunken samurai, right? Like the guy that carries around, he's still, Todd Packer, the
Yeah.
Jedi, the drunken Jedi.
the drunken Jedi?
I love it.
God, he was a blast though. Great weekend, great experience.
Yes.
We're not as much on the collecting side of things. However, cons are a part of it. We
Well,
did
this look, the wall that you see behind Andy right now is actually my own personal, like that's my signature wall. And so we just made that.
There's some more to put up.
There's some more to put up, but I can't wait to put this up with it. Very exciting. Very exciting. So I'm just looking forward to a little more, a few more cons. I got to get my we got to get out there, start handing out some Holochronicles cards and stuff because Star Wars Celebration is coming, man. And I want to make sure I'm ready. So,
and yep, Framey, the Bo-Katan print is not up online yet.
It is not,
and it might not be for a little while. He made this specifically for the con. So, if only you knew somebody who lived by him.
yeah, Framey. If only you knew somebody that had him on their show a few days ago.
Maybe we could pull a string.
We might pull a string.
I don't know.
All
I
right.
don't know.
What do you say? On to the next thing.
We got one last thing, right? It's one last thing.
It's
amazing.
Hold on. Let's put this up. So here we are.
This is us. And
this is us in the room. But we
Josh's
have one
bonus room.
feature. We have one feature that you
can't see.
You can't see, and we're excited. We're excited to show it to you. And what is this, Andy?
This is.
By the way, I'm going to interrupt you again. I'm going to interrupt. Thank you, Andy. I know you love it when I do that to you. Red 5 Designs, are they not the coolest guys on earth?
They are. Johnny and Greg are sweet. They're sweet men.
That's all I'm doing is just throwing that out there.
They're awesome.
They're beyond awesome. They're patrons. They're sponsors. They send us cool shit. We put it up for you guys to see.
And some of it we send back to them.
Most of it. We're like, I don't know. I don't think that guy paid, right? I don't know, man. We didn't get it. No, they're just the greatest dudes, and they have the best product, which I'm still stoked. Are we having them on next week to give us an update?
And I think a couple weeks would be.
And I'm not worried about it. If they're a little nervy because they're like, we have to delay a day or two. I don't care. A month or two. We don't care. We get this. We're collectors.
Yeah.
The barge over in the corner, right behind Andy. 6 weeks.
Yeah, we had to wait.
6 weeks. Razor Crest. Gonna happen. We're not gonna get it in time.
The book
Deal with it.
is gonna be awesome.
I can't wait to have it just sitting. I mean, we have plenty of places we can put it. I can't wait to just have it.
We might need like a little thing where you keep like the family Bible, where it's got all of your heritage back like 8 generations, and one of those wooden. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what? One of those big things, like classy.
You ever been to like
smells of rich mahogany?
The castle in Disneyland, Sleeping Beauty Castle, where they have it under glass, open to each chapter.
Exactly.
That's what we should have.
And just turn one page a day.
Don't touch it.
No, just one page a day.
No, don't touch
so you
it.
can see the beautiful artwork.
There's a package on the side where you put a glove on, and then you can touch it.
Yeah.
Are you okay, buddy?
I got some in my eye. I don't know
All
what's
right.
going on.
I think it's joy.
I think
You have joy in your eye.
a
All right.
little dust in the room.
All right. Okay.
This, you want me to do it since you got a sprint?
I'm gonna hit the. I gotta hit the thing, and then I'll do the sprint.
Oh, you're gonna hit it.
And then you're gonna add it. Hold
Here.
on, guys. Pause. What would? Okay, here's
What are we
what's gonna
doing?
happen. I'm gonna hit the drop. It's gonna be the red 5. I'll run over there and do that, and then you need
turn it
to
on.
add it to the damn screen.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
No,
All right. Anyway,
you're gonna hit it,
your
or am
lead
I
in.
gonna hit it?
No, I'm gonna hit it.
This is the Red 5 Designs toy review. Wait a minute.
You should have soloed it. I don't have the music. Oh.
This is Vintage Collection Captain Rex. Isn't he beautiful? This is a recent figure that Vintage Collection put out. It's been out for a couple months now, I think. And Rex is a favorite of mine. You guys already know that. And the 3 3/4 inch version, this version of him is, I don't know, perfect in a word. Perfect. He's got 2 holsters for his pistols. These are the only accessories he comes with. He does have a movable sensor scope. That's not a sensor scope. R2 has a sensor
Are
scope.
you just gonna glaze over the fact?
No. I'm letting
Okay.
him soak it in.
All right.
Chill, just chill, man.
All right.
And he's got the blue pauldron on the side. And he's definitely phase 2 later Clone Wars years Captain Rex. He is a wonderful addition to any collection. And what I truly love about him, now I have 2 of these, one on the card and one loose. This is obviously the loose one. Josh, you put the card up behind him just real quick. The card is excellent. Love it. The crossbones, giving him the crossbones. I love that image of him. Oh, all right up front. Captain Rex. Yep. Love it. All right. Thanks, Josh. We can resume back to the Rexy version, Captain Rexy. So, do you guys have this figure? Because if you don't, you should. And I, definitely a must-have. This figure is a must-have.
Here's the deal, guys. We're all in this together, right? Sexy Rexy in front of a roaring fire. I think this is our new take on spinners right now. And don't worry about the lack of music, because this is something that we haven't piped in yet.
You can.
I just
if you close your eyes, you can hear the fire crackling.
You're doing it in your head. Sexy Rexy. This is beautiful. It's beautiful.
How do you guys like the white spinner box, or do you like the fireplace better?
Yeah, you tell us.
I don't think it's much of a question. I think it's kind of an obvious answer, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
I think that spinning Star Wars toys in a romantic setting with a couple of your buddies is probably the best thing you could ever do. Please don't tell my wife.
Okay. Left Coast, do we need to be
look at this.
Lookout?
I don't know what the bigger flex is. Sexy Rexy or a fire going. That's the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
There is sweat on our heads.
Yeah.
I told Andy
95 outside.
I'm like,
right
Andy, check this out. This is the stupidest, funniest thing I've ever done. I mean, we're spinning toys in front of a fire, and it's 95 degrees
with the AC.
That's
on.
in the Northwest.
Yeah.
I know there's places. And by the way, we want to send our heartfelt, like, stay safe, stay inside, stay cool to a lot of the Midwest is just cooking right now. But yeah.
I love this.
I'm sorry. I just oh, but there's our Rex.
Amy, like one of your Kaminoan ladies.
Dude, some of the best takes.
Oh,
should-
yes. So good, Frank. Thank you. So good. Or unless that was Amy. I don't know. Tip of the cap to both of you. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Paul says 95 is kind of chilly in Arizona.
Yeah,
but,
right.
but this is the Northwest. We don't get 95 days
Yeah, we don't get.
too often.
No, we're getting hundreds this weekend, which is going to put people out of their misery, to be honest with you. They're going down. But yeah, beautiful Rex. Okay, all right. We got some agreement.
All right.
We like the
Paul,
fireplace.
Paul likes it, so we'll keep it.
All right. Paul likes it. We'll keep it. We'll zoom out. We'll zoom in. It doesn't matter. But look at that. I mean,
It's majestic.
If we only could have the music right now, which Andy, gosh darn it, how did you not let me get that ready? We had so many. Look, guys, we were literally nailing things to the
Scrambling.
wall.
Yes.
That's why we were 5 minutes late, because we didn't have our mics hooked up and we couldn't even hit unmute before we went on. So
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's
This
beautiful.
has been
It has
a Red 5 toy review
Thank you. Thank you.
brought to you by the Holochronicles Podcast.
And as they deserve.
Mm.
Red 5, a couple of sexy dudes right there, making the sexiest book in a long time.
Maybe ever.
Yeah.
Eat your heart out, 50 Shades.
Eat your heart out, Harlequin novels.
This is 500 pages of vintage Star Wars goodness.
Dang.
Oh, yeah.
Tie me up.
What? Don't be weird.
Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Oh,
okay. That brings us to a natural conclusion to the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and those listening on Rewind and those listening on audio platforms. You can find us at Holochronicles on Instagram, Facebook, most often on Twitter. We'd love to interact with you, and on Patreon, where you can join a fistful of awesome patrons.
Can we thank those dudes yet? And I mean, and by dudes, I mean everyone.
Yes.
Whether it's gals or dudes or whatever. You know, we're up to 9 in only a short week.
We've got an awesome group. So be a part of it.
Can I read them off or not?
If you'd like to.
I'd like to read off our patrons because part of the benefit is getting recognized, which we'll have an end screen for you guys soon. Our most recent patron is Mark Magaha. I got to say that right. Thank you. Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Todd DeGrossi. It's like Todd DeGrossi Junior High. Thank you. Red 5 Designs, our sponsor and our patron. That's amazing. JD, the Beast Sleesman.
Thank you, JD.
Love that guy. Prentice Ewok, Brandon. We love you. Thank you so much. Kendall Gellner, Gary Moore, Matt from Enid, and David McFadden.
And David, another Canadian great legend.
Bonjour.
Bonjourna.
But we love everyone that's gotten on there, hopped on, supported us, and we're doing our best to keep good content. We're going to cons.
Yeah.
We're doing the dirty work.
I brought a pen in case anyone wanted my autograph. Nobody wanted my autograph.
Nobody even recognized the H.
No.
I don't get it. Get it, man.
Someday.
We had leave it in the box and take it out and play shirts on.
Nobody said a thing.
One guy did.
Oh, he did.
He said, I'll leave it in the. Oh, I thought that said what's in the box. He thought I was wearing a 7 shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
Sense.
What's in the box? Yeah. So, we got to keep trying. But yeah.
So thanks to our patrons. Thanks to those listening. Let's wrap this up, Josh.
Yeah, we love them.
Get to a con if you can. Get out and see people. It's good. It's invigorating to the soul. It's good to be around people.
It'll freshen you up, man.
It will.
It'll bring you back.
Even if it's 95 degrees.
Even if it's 95 degrees.
Freshen you
with
up.
the fire kicking.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at Rex. Take a look at Sexy Rexy as we take us out. Andy, what do we say to these mofos?
Go play with your toys before they melt in front of a fireplace.